Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of You Haven't Seen That Podcast, or YHST for short. I'm Isaac.
I'm Alva.
And this is a show where we cover movies on the growing list of films that has people asking us the question, you haven't seen that? If you're just watching, you'll notice that we have a creepy looking monkey joining us today.
The name is Gigi.
I guess.
No, it's there. It's stuck.
Yeah, but the reason why we have that monkey is because we put the call out to action a couple episodes before. We always say that if you want to hook us up with a bucket of popcorn, or in this case, a novelty bucket of popcorn, you can do so by basically hooking us up and supporting us on Venmo at YHST Pod. Thank you, listener Chris, for hooking us up. I highly, greatly, deeply, centrally, but no, they hooked us up, and other people hooked us up before. So, shout out listener Carlos, shout out listener Chris, a few other people. So thank you for supporting us. Continue to do so. It makes it all the worthwhile, and it's so fun because I probably wouldn't not have bought this bucket prior to getting hooked up, and because he did, well, it's like, well, a promise is a promise. I'm a man of my word, and there you have it. There it is, our little monkey, popcorn monkey.
From now on, they're just going to be listener Chris and listener Carlos. Like, their names do not exist without the listener in front.
But yeah, also what I mentioned by you seeing us, even though if you're only listening to us with your ears, you can live stream usually in the our future, your past, our present, whatever the hell it is, on our social, specifically TikTok at
YHST Pod.
On Instagram and TikTok. Mainly we're just doing the live streams right now on TikTok. I'm going to hold off on doing that on Instagram unless TikTok goes down. That's what she said, smiling. But
wow. Damn, you're muted.
Thank you, monkey. I've said it before. So these are the intermission episodes. And if you're not familiar, these are the episodes that were supposed to just be kind of like a placeholder in between doing the actual breakdowns. And I said that months ago, and we finally talked about it, and we're finally going to do breakdowns. So the way that it's going to work is essentially every other episode will be one's an intermission, one's a movie breakdown. It gives us a little breather, but also means that if you're looking forward to weekly streams on Sundays, it's going to give us a break. We're not going to do the weekly streams, but keep a lookout, keep an eye out, hit notifications, follow us closely, if you will, on the social medias. Mainly on Instagram, I put a lot of news stuff and whatever our show is updated with in the story. So keep an eye on those things so you're not missing out on what we're doing and what's going on. Savvy?
We.
I would do the show by myself, but it looks crazy when I'm talking this frenetically. So let's see. So before we get into our movies, we're covering 3 movies.
1, 2, 3.
We are first going to do what we usually do best, is keeping you informed on the latest in Hollywood, movies, and entertainment with the segment that we simply call YHST News. I was trying to draw it out a little more. What to make it more like news. Did I mention I had some caffeine? My segues are so bad.
Just go.
There's so much silence on this side of the table that I'm like, am I doing it right?
You're going. Just gonna go. I'm ready.
I need validation. For anybody that doesn't know me, I'm a people pleaser. I need validation, even if it's from my wife constantly. We have a timer on every 5 minutes and need like you're doing good.
You're doing good. I just have to read because remember how I just said yesterday.
Here we go. After 14 years of computer animated movies, Disney is thinking about going back to hand-drawn animations.
Harry Potter star Tom Felton, better known to Muggles as Draco Malfoy, just participated in Formula E's Evo Sessions event along with other celebrities such as Mr. Beast and Supercar Blondie to experience what elite drivers actually go through.
Yeah, Mr. Beast crashed on the safety car.
Oh, that's good. I don't want him on there.
The man behind Iron Man and The Mandalorian, Jon Favreau, is developing a live-action animated Oswald the Lucky Robot series for Disney+, hopefully finally answering the question that I've always asked, who the hell is Oswald?
Apparently the Lucky Rabbit.
Nice.
Christina Ricci was just recently honored with the 2000... See, this one, why I have to read these first.
I specifically put that big number in there. 1, it's really interesting fact, and I love numbers. But 2, she wasn't going to be able to fucking read it, so read it.
Honored with the 2,803rd star of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, supported by her biggest fans, her 2 sons and husband.
Aww. A Quiet Place 3 has just confirmed and it is in development with John Krasinski attached as the writer. It is rumored to be the quietest movie ever.
Scream's Skeet Ulrich
Skeet.
has joined the cast of Five Nights at Freddy's sequel as Henry Emily, alongside with his former Ghostface partner, Matthew Lillard. We're set to have a bloody good time, and who knows what they're going to get into.
Bloody good time. Barbarian director Zach Kreger will be directing a new Resident Evil movie set to release on September 18th, 2026. No news on the plot or the cast, but reportedly it'll be more faithful to the original games. And if it isn't, then they'll reanimate it once again, I'm pretty sure.
A new trailer for the MCU's Thunderbolts just dropped, flexing its resumes and poking fun at Martin Scorsese by tilting the trailer.
You dick. I had one typo. It's titling. No, wait. You read that wrong. That's your dyslexia.
I think so. Anyways, by titling the title. No.
Yeah.
Whatever. Titling the trailer Absolute Cinema. I hate this.
Can I get another take just for the edit? Just in case.
Hold on.
What happened? You're double checking the spelling of it?
Okay. Just looks wrong in my head.
I might keep that in the final edit, but just give me a clean take.
Yeah, a new trailer for the MCU's Thunderbolts just dropped, flexing its resume and poking fun at Martin Scorsese's, titling the trailer Absolute Cinema.
Bingo. And that's actually what we're going to cover right now, because I know we haven't really gone through a lot of recent trailers, but this one is a little special. In this trailer, not a lot was spoiled or revealed, but as she said in her news story headline, the way that they presented this new trailer was very cheeky, and it flexed its freaking resumes. From the stars of Midsummer and A Different Man, and You Hurt My Feelings, the cinematographer of A Green Knight, the editor of Minari, the production designer of Hereditary, and the composer of Everything Everywhere All at Once, not to mention the writers and directors of Beef. Now, that's a huge flex, which means that they're like, we're going to present you something that's amazing. And the reason why this trailer is cheeky by dropping its resumes is because in an interview a few years back, one very famous director, Martin Scorsese, said that superhero movies are not cinema. And the title of this trailer was Absolute Cinema. Kind of like an FU to Scorsese. Now, that also means that they have to deliver. And if they don't, that's going to suck really bad. Because, when we talked about like the Captain America Brave New World, I was like, oh, this looks like it could be, the spy espionage and really get you into that kind of back to like the kind of grounded superhero feeling. And for me, it missed the mark on that. And I really pray to whatever cinema movie MCU gods that there are out there that Thunderbolts does what Captain America failed to do. So that's just me.
Out of all that list, I think we've only seen 3 movies.
Yeah, but all those other ones are high praised. In fact, I think in an interview, Florence Pugh was quoted as saying that this feels like an A24 movie. And if you're not familiar, she was a star of Midsummer.
I don't know. I know that Green Knight, I heard good things. I don't think I've heard of Minari. Hereditary was good. Mm-hmm. I don't know what Beef is.
Oh, the show with Steve Yeun. Steve Yeun, which is he's co-starring in this movie, one of the movies we're talking about today.
And then A Different Man, I know Sebastian Stan is in that one.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, so anyways, that's going to clunkily end our YHST news. My segues are lacking. Go ahead, kick it off.
All right, Novocaine. When the girl of his dreams is kidnapped, a man incapable of feeling physical pain turns his rare condition into an unexpected advantage in the fight to rescue her.
And right off the bat, it was fun.
Yeah. As
kind of promised by the trailer, they basically told you everything that was going on. This movie has some twists and turns to keep it from being, the typical nice guy throws himself into this whole, action thing. Everyone in here is really good. You've seen you've seen a lot of these people in other movies. Jack Quaid we covered in Companion. Amber Midthunder was in, there was a movie she was in, I think it went straight to streaming. It was Prey, which was like a prequel, if you will, to Predator.
Oh, I remember her. I remember watching the beginning with you.
Yeah, no, she's a badass. Ray Nicholson, he was in Smile 2, Jack Nicholson's son. Everyone did their parts.
Oh, she's Princess Yue. She is
Princess Yue. Oh, the live action.
Yeah, the live action, the one we don't talk about.
Think anybody here watches Avatar? The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Not the blue people.
Yeah, no, not the blue people. I don't know.
But no, this was a straightforward movie. Like there wasn't, like a deep character backstory, storyline. I mentioned there's a twist, here and there, but for the most part, it is extremely straightforward, bloody action movie. We walked out of there going like, yeah,
this is pretty good.
I fucking enjoyed that, Like if you have nothing else going on, you're not, especially after we just got done with the the award season.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a thinker of a movie.
No, but when we saw the trailer, we're like, oh, they kind of showed everything in a weird way.
Yeah.
But when we watched the movie, we're like, oh, this is nice. This is good. Like, it was like a good palate cleanser.
And I know I overuse this word. It was formulaic, but in that way that it was like, no. We know what the formula is. We're gonna make sure we do it well. I mean, my little nitpick at it, other than Jack Quaid does get typecast in the nice guy roles. He has played more nefarious roles, but in this one, they for a few beats, they leaned really hard into him being a nice guy. Apologizing as he's hitting people or whatever. And then thankfully, that was just like in that one scene, and it deviated from that enough where I'm like, okay, this is more believable. Yes, it's a movie. Yes, it's a silly action film. You do need to suspend your disbelief because the guy has a condition where he can't feel anything, and then comedy ensues. And how would that really play out? Like I will give them credit that they leaned into a lot of like medical specificities.
Yeah,
where you're like, that is what it would be like if you couldn't feel, and how one would react or not react.
Because he has this condition, he has to he has I have to know the basics of first aid.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everyone should know the basics of a first aid kind of thing.
It reminds me of the movie Kick-Ass. One of the big parts of the movie, Aaron Taylor Johnson, his character Kick-Ass, he tries to be a superhero, gets his ass beat so hard that his nerve endings are essentially dead and he can't feel pain. But this guy has basically a neurological condition.
He was born that way.
It's to the point where he has to be so specific of how he eats food and how he has to remind himself to go to the bathroom, which is such a fun little details where you can just go, here's this concept where this guy don't feel anything, and then bam, he just does shit. You're like, no, let's be a little bit more realistic about it.
Yeah.
But then there are some parts where you're like, okay, it still lets you know, oh, it's still that kind of action movie. Mm-hmm. Do suspend your disbelief specifically. And if you guys aren't familiar, I'm into firearms a bit. And there's always those things where I go, is it going to be super real like John Wick and how a firearm functions? Or
is it going to be very movie-like and just...
Yeah. Are they going to have extra rounds in their gun? Or is the gun going to go click, click, click when it's empty? But the guns don't do that. So that was just me. I was like, you know what? I was on board. I was on board for everything else. And then the gun usage, whatever. But that's me.
The control of it was good.
Yeah.
But I do know those parts where you were like, oh, no. And I'm just like, I know, right? Like, that doesn't hold that many.
I mean, I don't have anything more to say about this movie. I do recommend people to see it. If you don't want a movie that's a thinker, if you want something that is a little gory in its action, it has some tongue-in-cheek comedy, and I do believe the romance in this, because such a crush on Amber Midthunder ever since I first saw her in an FX series called Legion. Just a fun character.
Yeah. It is an hour 50 movie, so if you just want to get out for the house for that
bing, bang, boom.
2 hours, can round up to 2.
And speaking of movies that were a relative quick watch, we then managed to squeeze this movie in thanks to it streaming. It is an Oscar award-winning animated movie, Flow. Cat is a solitary animal, but as its home is devastated by a great flood, he finds refuge on a boat populated by various species, and will have to team up with them despite their differences.
Yeah, no, it was a really good movie. It is, they created this one on, what is it, the free program called Blender.
Mm-hmm. It's a free open source program.
Yeah. As we were watching it last night, I don't know, I know we usually when we watch movies at home, we kind of look at each other and we kind of we'll make little things here and there. But the whole time, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was it being very, the visuals being good, maybe the sounds and everything, but I was locked in from the beginning. But the journey of this cat made me so anxious because I just wanted to hold him
or her
and be like, stop going there. Stop going in the damn water. Stop, having your boat leave you.
No, those curious cats, though.
But the thing that I did like was all the sounds of the animals. They actually took their time to go around and get the actual noises of these animals. Like the cats, all the meows and any noise that the cat made was the sound engineer's orange cat. And for the first week, he was trying to get sound. It was shy. And I think when they interviewed him, he said no, my cat's very talkative. So for a whole week, he just didn't talk to me because he had
around with a microphone.
Yeah, with a boom mic kind of thing.
Yeah.
I believe the dog in here is the director's dog, which also when they were getting nominated for the Oscars, when they were seeing if their movie got nominated, he was his dog was basically laying down, and when they announced the international film and he saw that he was nominated for it, he's just kind of petting his dog, and I can totally see because he has a golden retriever, and the dog in the movie is a golden retriever.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he got
I relate to that dog. I have golden retriever.
Yeah, and as soon as he got nominated for the actual animation part too, he just laid down on the dog, hugging him and everything, but the dog just didn't really care about it.
Yeah.
So it's just okay. But yeah, no, everything about this movie was just the journey that the cat went through and everything, trying to trust the animals around and just trying to go through this journey of surviving and finally trusting all the animals within the same boat. It was interesting to have that take. It also did make me cry.
I was trying to turn and look to see when you're gonna have the sad moment.
When the bird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't spoil anything because I do think that parents and kids can enjoy this film. It has a minimalistic art style that is impressive. The reason why it's important or huge that it was made in Blender, there's a few people, I don't specifically remember the artists' names, but I watch a YouTube channel called Corridor Digital. They always shout out a few people. And this 3D program that people can make stuff on is if you really are a true artist, you can make something that's very impressive. And some of these people make stuff that is so intricate in design with meticulous little details and stuff like that. But yet the style of this movie, the art style of it, is not relying on the details of the trees or the grass or anything like that. It gives this aesthetic that paired with sometimes a lack of music, along with the great Foley work, and as Alva mentioned, the voiceover work by the animals, it's such a good pairing that makes it relaxing to the point that I was like, shit, we should have watched this earlier in the evening. And I was falling asleep. But as she mentioned, the anxiety-filled moments of this cat, kept me up. And somebody had warned me, a listener of mine, listener Kim. We were talking movies as people do with me, and she had asked if I seen Flow, and I was like, no, that's on the top of the list. She said, prep yourself. You're going to be filled with anxiety. Mm-hmm. And this movie delivered on that. Mm-hmm. Gosh, it delivered on the anxiety, on the heart. There's a message in here, and you can spend a lot of time in picking it apart and, what does it all mean? I personally have my theory.
Okay, what's your theory?
My theory is that all of the animals are in purgatory. My theory is that they're all dead. Mm. What's another movie where, actually, if you think about it, everyone's dead? Oh, Grease. Mm. Yep, I'm comparing. Whoever would have thought I'm comparing Grease to Flow. And if you watch that movie, you'll see what I mean. It has this feeling of almost like ethereal afterlife, where you're not exactly on this earth with certain creatures and landscape and certain like rock formations and whatnot that are. Man, again, it adds to that aesthetic, but it's still at the same time you're like, no, this doesn't feel like our world. But yet, even though these animals don't utter a word, again, the quote unquote voiceover work is so important and crucial in how it was implemented amongst all the other amongst the animals, interacting with one another, where they still, retain their animalistic behaviors. Mm-hmm. And that played in so heavily, but yet they still adapted some almost like human-like personality traits, unease, greed at one point, apprehension.
Well, I think all those, the greed and everything like that, lemurs are that way. Mm-hmm. So they're just they basically just went to go watch a lemur and be like, let's study how this one is. Let's study how this animal reacts and how, of course, a cat is very timid. It's like, you have your friendly ones and everything, but a cat can just live on its own by one, like it doesn't need anything else. It's a representation of like you going through life and going through hardships, but it's not until you find your circle that helps you evolve into trusting others.
Yeah.
To accomplish these goals, to accomplish where you need to go and have like a support system kind of thing. Like when finally one of the parts where the cat somehow is back to being itself, you can tell it wasn't happy. It was like, wait, but I just finally trusted these animals. Now I'm back to my lonesome. And the part where it finds one of the animals and that whole interaction where it's like, no, I'm too into my materialistic thing. And the cat goes, okay. Sad walks away. The lemur kind of realizes, no, like, what am I doing? Like, I made this like realizes as well, like, no, we are like a team. We are this whole little family that we created, and goes after.
That message was so strong, and I think it definitely stands out more than anything else that you might be able to pick from this movie. Because, it's basically throughout the movie, other than the cat itself, like everyone else, and the capybara, everyone else, obviously, you can see them coming from their own respective groups. It almost sounds silly that we're like breaking down a cat cartoon. But it's more than that. It's so fucking amazing. It's why it won the Oscar for Best Animated Film. But anyway, so, some of the animals come from their groups, and obviously they're having fun. They're doing their own thing. But their recognition that their group is holding them back from being a better person or, animal. Yeah, there's a message in that. So when I finally become the perfect person, I then get to go into the bright light in the sky.
Shut up. I will cry again.
Going back to the technical aspect of it, I was so impressed by some of the oneers, and if no one's familiar, oneers are unedited single shots, which means that there's a lot of action happening and the camera's following whichever one of the animals. And I didn't realize it does something that is a little profound, where you feel like these are these like private moments, where these animals are going through their thing, but yet you're following them almost like a fly on the wall, or rather, fly in the sky. But yet, like how that camera, I got to look at the behind the scenes of how this thing's made, but like how the camera isn't just free floating. It's this almost as if a person is holding a camcorder or whatever, this handheld camera look where it's sort of moving and shaking a little bit.
I love that because it just made it more like realistic in a way.
The camera flowed, brought it all back to the title of the movie. Yeah, I don't listen, we're two people, two human beings, and we both liked it, but that doesn't matter. The important thing is that our cat Ari watched it from beginning to end. And he did. He sat down. He's like, "Is that a movie about a cat? Are we sitting? Okay, I got mom's lap, dibs." And then
he did watch it beginning to end.
Sat and watched it. Fucking enjoyed it.
There are videos where like other people have posted of their cats kind of going to the TV and trying to save the cat in certain scenes. And I was like, my cat's not going to do that. And Ari stayed on brand with that one. He did not move off my lap. He did not move off like the blanket that I had. He kind of just stayed there, but he watched the whole thing. I know he would watch the whole thing.
Yeah. It's a quick watch. It has a lot of heart. It's so relaxing. I kind of just want to like have that playing on in the background forever and ever.
It's like very relaxing.
But no, we highly recommend that. It's streaming on Max.
It's on Max, yeah.
So animals, kids, and people will enjoy that movie. Oscar-winning movie, rightfully so. We still haven't seen any of the other Oscar-nominated animated films. I think Wild Robot.
Wild Robot, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So now two. They're on the list.
And lastly,
but not least.
Definitely not least, we did end up watching Mickey 17, starring Robin Pattinson, Naomi Ackie, Steve Yeun, Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette, and a few other people that I don't exactly recognize. But what it's about.
It's a disposable employee is sent on a human expedition to colonize the ice world Niflheim.
I kept thinking they were saying Nippleheim.
Yeah, same. After one iteration dies, a new body is regenerated with most of his memories intact.
This is directed by Bong Joon-ho, who directed the Oscar award-winning movie Parasite. And this is back in the day when like some of these Oscar award-winning movies were actually really, really good. Jokes aside, though, I want to see more of this dude's films. I know we actually saw another one. It was the one with the big pig, Okja.
Okja, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so then I've seen more than one. Okay.
But this guy knows how to storytell. It is adapted from a book called Mickey 10. And
I thought it was Mickey 7.
I'm sorry. Was it Mickey 7? Why am I thinking Mickey 10? I thought there was a sequel called Mickey 10. Anyways.
Maybe it's all of those together.
Yeah. First and foremost.
It's Mickey 7.
Oh, no, I know why. I did math in my head where I was like, the book is Mickey 7. The movie's Mickey 17. There's 10 other iterations. Mm-hmm. Accidental math. It's a dark comedy. Pattinson's overall performance, because he has to play two people, Mickey 17 and Mickey 18. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're following along with Mickey 17, who's more of a meek copy, and Mickey 18, who's a bit of a hard ass, kind of similar to, this is a throwback, Multiplicity with Michael Keaton.
I've not seen.
But because I was relating that to Multiplicity, where I'm like, oh yeah, a copy of a copy of a copy, and things are going to get a little bit wonky and a little bit different. But I will say, and this isn't not really a spoiler or nothing like that, but that wasn't explained. Because all the other iterations were like meek, kind of losery.
They're the same, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this 18th iteration, he's an asshole.
Which kind of like brings the question, because there is something in here that is they talk about how the machine that makes them.
Yeah, the printer.
Then somebody else, the person who created the printer. Now it kind of makes me wonder, like, is there a certain point where it starts making them where it turns to, like, you know?
I'm guessing so, but it isn't. I know the part you're talking about. But that person was basically a psychopath from the start.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You know.
Yeah. But it didn't take away from the movie. Surprisingly, though, even though it's a Bong Joon-ho film, whereas Parasite was very layered in everyone's backstory and almost telling a couple of different stories all converging into one, this one was pretty much straightforward with not a lot to unpack. I mean, yes, like the obvious allegory is there, you know, certain politics and politicians, you know, the very eccentric politicians, and you know who's actually running them, and the workplace, the corporate world, and you know what it means to actually be expendable and living for others as opposed to living for yourself, that kind of thing. It's obviously in there. This is set in the future. You're like, oh yeah, I totally get this. But again, there's not much more to unpack, but it doesn't keep it from being an enjoyable movie.
No, I don't think I even had anything bad to say about this movie. I sat with it for 2 days. It's been 2 days since we watched it. Yeah, and I don't think I have anything bad about it. I did like its cold open, because I was not. I was like, okay, I guess we're just gonna go into it until bam, there you go, title card. But that's about it.
Going back to how Parasite was done, I love how the storytelling was executed in this. Where the movie opens up, basically is the turning point in that character's storyline. But it has to set up the world for you, and it does so cleanly and pretty like punctually, if you will, in just one big flashback. And it world builds, and it lets you know what everything entails as far as this world and the ship, and they're trying to go to this new place and these creatures and whatnot, so that you know, like, okay, I get it. I have learned everything that I need to learn. Now let's get back to this main story. Because yes, here's the really interesting part. It world builds, and it really does feel like a lived-in world. Because there's certain movies, especially sci-fi movies, this is where like sci-fi kind of fails when you have bad storytelling.
Yeah.
Is where it's like, we're creating this whole new world, but as the characters are going through their life and their story, we're going to explain stuff that should be very obvious to them, but because you're new to it, well, we have to explain it to you. It doesn't do any of that. So these people feel like organic.
Yeah.
It is organically interesting.
Going to what's his name? Mark Ruffalo's performance in it. Mm-hmm. I was not expecting that level of performance from him. Also, there's like some mannerisms he did, and I'm just like, I can see where you're kind of like poking at like the world that we're in today, and then like the fantasy world that this movie is in. And I didn't mind it. And Toni Collette's whole performance on it, I was just like, I'm in. I know you do good stuff. I don't think there's anything that Toni Collette has done that I don't like.
No, dude, she lives in that role of like being kooky.
Robert Pattinson's range in this.
Yes.
Not just like every time that we see him on there, whether it be Mickey 1, Mickey 5, whatever it is, until he's 17 or 18. But like the range that he has within this movie, it is amazing.
This guy continues to shake the typecasting from that fated Twilight movie.
He's no sparkling vampire
anymore. And even that, like, you know, he broke out with certain roles like Water for Elephants.
Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse, which we still haven't seen. The Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I love when there's actors that are so recognizable, but yet are so flexible in their abilities that each character that they portray, and specifically in this one, 2 characters that he's playing, are so distinctly different that you're not distracted by, oh, that's Robin Pattinson.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, I think once Twilight came out, they saw him and he's like, oh, he is just one of those that he is just now like, I think everyone in their mind kind of just typecasted him in that way. Because I know I did. I was like, oh, great. Now you're just going to be one of those. Until I started seeing that he did The Lighthouse. And for some reason, that one intrigued me. I don't know if it was because of the trailer, but I was just like, I need to see that one. And I still haven't seen it, but I need to see it so I can get off my list. And it just needs to be done soon.
And we might visit that very soon because we're finally doing the breakdowns. Totally random, and this isn't spoilers. I love the visual effects, by the way, are amazing. This is a $106 million budget movie, which, as far as like a sci-fi, is comfortable, you know, where it managed to utilize that wholeheartedly to look great. And not just with the planet and the spaceship and all that other obvious sci-fi stuff, but the little creatures. I love how the creatures called the Creepers had such a personality.
Oh my God. Okay. They kind of look like little elephants to me, but like space elephants.
Like space elephants combined with like roly-polies.
Oh my God, yes.
And much credit to how handling the same actor playing 2 people in one scene is done. I love that movie Trickery, and hopefully Corridor Digital will cover that very soon, because I do sit there scratching my brain going, how do you shoot this? Which one is the plate and which is like what is actually there? Anyways, too technical, too nerdy that I don't have the vocabulary to explain.
Yes, but also going back to Robert Pattinson, I wanted to see his range in The Odyssey.
God,
he is going to be in that one.
That's the
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, that's the upcoming 2026 Christopher Nolan film, basically adapted from like the old 40s movie or something.
Yeah, but I want to see his range in there, like how he does that.
Not only him, but the rest of the cast. It's a freaking huge cast.
Yeah, it is.
I can't wait to talk about that movie if it doesn't suck. Or if it does suck.
I hope not.
Or if it does suck. I mean, that'll be one of like the first sucky Christopher Nolan movies.
With a lot of big names? I don't know.
Jesus. That's a lot. You know, just list off some of those.
Okay. We have Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Elliot Page, Robert Pattinson, Matt Damon, Mia Goth, John Bernthal,
Lupita Nyong'o,
Charlize Theron, Cosmo Jarvis, Samantha Morton.
And then it all kind of falls up. John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I that Christopher Nolan, not to pivot too much, but like Christopher Nolan is one of those people that knows how to utilize his actors and get the most out of them. And going back to it, Bong Joon-ho knows how to use everybody in this thing. So again, very straightforward movie that there's not a lot to unpack, and it's still enjoyable in every aspect.
I saw an interview of the director, and they asked him like, what was his what was the first movie you watched, or what was that movie that got you into directing? Who was your first director? Your favorite director? And he said Alfred Hitchcock, and he watched Psycho at age 9.
Yeah.
And I can kind of see that inspiration in some of his work here, how he tells the story and everything. And then I'm kind of now remembering Okja, and I was like, yeah, I could kind of see how that influenced him to do these movies where it kind of does tell the story in a way.
I really hope this movie does become a success, because we're getting a little bit exhausted or fatigued with superhero mainstream stuff. But it's not to say that you can't do new sci-fi things. Like, I love sci-fi. Sci-fi is so fun because you get to absolutely create your own world. You know, there's some freedom in that, but you still need to tell a decent story. Some people go like, well, this is the concept. You're like, okay, but you still have to storytell. You still have to focus on, it has to be character driven. If you're not doing that and just be like, yeah, but sci-fi, the movie's fucked right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Not only that, but like you have a really solid director like this guy. And, you know, going back to Christopher Nolan, it's like Christopher Nolan plays around with grounded stuff and sci-fi things, and Jesus Christ, did Batman so fucking well. You know, it's, I think that this movie, Mickey 17, is kind of a breath of fresh air and a look into the future for movie making, as far as like giving some hope to expect like the possibility of better things.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I think about it. Random, this is totally random, stupid fact, personal trivia. There's an actress in here who plays Mickey's love interest, played by Naomi Ackie. Is that her?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I need to confirm that.
Yeah.
Naomi Ackie. Going back quite a few episodes, we covered the movie Blink Twice. And I was like, oh my God, that actress is so amazing, Naomi Ackie. She was so good in Get Out. She was like the housekeeper. Turns out it was grandmother's brain in her head. And I was like, she was so good. Well, I had a racist moment because I thought that was her. And it, in fact, is not her. Naomi Ackie is not the woman from Get Out.
That's a you problem. Yeah, that's a you problem. Because I remember that. And I remember you saying it, and I felt like I was not sure if that was it.
Naomi Ackie is the girl, the lead in Blink Twice. But that actress in Get Out was actually in Novocaine as a detective, and her name is Betty Gabriel. Gabriel.
Whatever.
So what are the coincidences? So as I'm looking up information about this film, I'm like, wait, that isn't that actress in that movie? And I started to put them side by side. I'm like, oh my God, I had a racist moment where that's what people go, don't they look alike? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get canceled.
You are, because I'm not.
She's just doing it. All right, Alva's doing the show by herself.
Okay, bye. Okay, this is the end of the episode. That's it. Okay, bye.
So I recommend this movie to people. Don't expect a lot, but expect really cool stuff. Like, don't expect a lot as in like, you know, deep dive into things. Enjoy the movie. It's a very enjoyable movie.
Let's see all 3 movies.
I recommend that movie. And damn it, I'm really rusty on this shit. Which means we get to move on to our segment that I call YHST Gets Fresh. Ooh. Every other episode, Alva and I guess the Rotten Tomato critic and audience score, as well as giving our own personal rating of the aforementioned movie from 0 to 100, 59 and below being rotten and 16 and above being fresh. It's Alva's turn to guess the percentages.
Okay.
Reviews. Starting off with Novocaine.
Okay, I give this one. Would this one have a audience score since an early release?
No.
No?
It does not have an audience score. Look
Look
at you using your noggin.
So I give it an 85.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe critics give it maybe an 89. And I felt like I don't know. Do I have to do the audience score if there's no audience score?
You can guess audience score, and we can revisit it on next week's episode.
Maybe 90.
Critic score is 89%.
Okay.
So pretty up there. Like, I was actually surprised because I don't know if critics give action movies like this much props. And I'm gonna make a safe bet that the audience enjoyed it just as much. So, you know, tune into next episode where we confirm that. Next, Flo.
Okay, I give this one a 95. I feel like critics might have given it like a 90, and maybe audience gave it like a 97.
Yeah, you're pretty much in the ballpark. The critics give it a 97%, and audience loved it at a 98%. Who are those two? Where's that 2% of people that didn't like it?
I gave it a 95 because it made me cry too much, even after when I watched some clips of it.
Felt too much?
5 down, please. Thank you.
Detractor, demerit. And last but not least, Mickey 17.
Okay, I give this one an 89. I feel like critics might have given it a 91, and audience. This one's out already, right? Yeah, this one's out.
Yeah.
Maybe 93.
Surprisingly, the critics gave it a 78% and the audience gave it a 72%.
They don't understand art.
Well, it's like, what were they expecting from this? Really, is it a matter of expecting something, whether it be from the director itself because of Parasite, that sort of weighed in on this judgment? I don't know.
I think they might have been comparing those two movies.
But again, as we always say, and I have to say that, we don't give Rotten Tomatoes a lot of credit. It's just a fun game to play to see where we kind of line up with the supposed reviews on this thing. But there you have it. There it is. That's our reviews on Why HST Gets Fresh. Mm-hmm.
Yay.
I'm gonna have to get like a separate recording of your and then play and time it. But yeah, like I said before, we finally are gonna do some trivia ish. Yeah, not straightforward trivia. In fact, we're gonna fuck around with some movie quotes. Just a few, not too many. Okay. Movie quotes. I live in the world of movie quotes. I say it all the time. I fucking did it in a family chat with my sister the other day. I was waiting for her response. I mean, I don't think I talk normally outside of movie quotes.
No, I don't think you do. Okay, here's one.
Go ahead.
Carpe diem. Seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary.
This is where people get to see that I don't know a lot about movies.
You don't know it?
No.
Okay, Dead Poet Society. Have you seen it?
No, it's why the show exists. Damn it. Is that the one with Robin Williams?
Yeah, it's such a good movie. Okay,
Damn it.
go.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
I'm going to go with Gone with the Wind.
No, that's Casablanca. Oh, no, it's Gone with the Wind. Oh, wait, I usually have dings and stuff, huh?
Yeah.
There we go. Go ahead.
I'm serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Easy. Airplane.
Okay.
Come on. All right, I've got to get in character of this one. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Godfather.
Also, because I fucking nailed that impersonation.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in a glass case of emotion.
That's Anchorman. Also, you gotta get into it. I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Well, here's the thing. I've never seen the movie, so I don't know how to.
Oh,
Yeah.
my heart.
That's how I felt when you haven't seen Dead Poet Society.
Poor thing.
No, you poor thing.
Yeah. But Anchorman.
Yeah. I will say I'm not much of a Will Ferrell fan for some of his movies.
You have said that.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's looking at you, kid.
Casablanca?
You got that right.
Okay, say hello to my little friend.
Say it in character, damn it.
No,
I haven't seen the movie, but it's Scarface.
Yes.
All right, this one's a really tough one. I'm going to throw some hard ones at you. Get in character with this one. May the force be with you.
Star Wars.
Which one?
Episode 4?
Year?
1977.
Look at this fucking chick. Fucking flexing her shit at me. Go ahead.
I have the high ground.
Oh, fuck.
Well, it probably wasn't said that way, but you told me to use character.
What was it?
I have the high ground.
Oh, Star Wars.
What? Which one?
Revenge of the Sith.
What episode?
3.
What year?
Oh, no. 2008?
No, 2005.
Ugh.
You only get partial.
And I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
I don't know this one. It's a Vietnam movie for sure.
It is a Vietnam movie. Apocalypse Now.
Okay.
All right, last ones.
Okay. You make me want to be a better man.
What is that from?
As good as it gets.
Oh, Jack Nicholson. Damn it. Is that the... You wouldn't know this, would you? Is that the one where he's like, has OCD? Yeah, we'll look it up.
I don't know.
You guys look it up later. Okay. Last one. I want to make it a tough one. Here we go. Rosebud. The movie of all movies. People compare everything to this movie.
Citizen Kane.
Wow, she got it.
I'm good, guys. I'm good.
And there you go. It's YHST trivia. We're real people.
Woo.
We have our blemishes and, holes in our brains where we're not getting the things. So yeah, all right, let's go ahead and wrap up the episode and remind people about our movies that we talked about. So Novocaine, see it. Fun movie, in and out. You're there. You're having tons of fun. Really bloody, so careful with that.
Flow. See it. Very animated. We'll make you cry.
Yeah, cry eyes out. People will enjoy it.
Tissues, please.
Kids will enjoy it. Animals will enjoy it. And lastly, Mickey 17. Bong Joon-ho is an amazing director. This maybe isn't on the level of Parasite, but as far as sci-fi, this is something amazing, and I'm looking forward to more of his work and more of new sci-fi stuff. So there you freaking have it. There it freaking is. Anything else you want to say about these movies before we wrap up?
No, see them. Or knuckle sandwiches for all.
And as I always say, to all a good night. Thank you again for listening to another wacky ass episode. We're not certified to do this shit. Why are we doing it? Because it's fun and it keeps me off the streets, keeps me off the hard drugs, kids.
What hard drugs?
Sodas.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But anyways, follow us on our socials. Let us know what you thought about the movies that we talked about on
YHST Pod.
On Instagram and TikTok at YHST Pod. Those are the places where you can comment. DM if you want to be more private about it. But again, if you want to support us and hook us up with any other novelty bucket of popcorn like listener Chris did, you can do that on Venmo at YHST Pod. Let's get some of that momentum going. Reminder, we do still have the bite-sized episodes that we call YHST Snacks. And those we pump out every week. Again, we're going every other week as far as the intermissions, like we said we were gonna. So look forward to more breakdowns because there's a growing list. There's 180 movies now, and we gotta finally watch those things. So we are gonna do that. The next episode that your ear holes will receive is that. And in the meantime, let us know what movies on your growing list of films and has people asking you. Oh, I did that sloppy. People asking you the question. We're keeping it in. You haven't seen that? Later, folks.
Okay, bye.
I have to go have a brain aneurysm.
Are you having one already?
I'll be dead by the next episode.